House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Mr. Leader, good to have you.
No, thanks for having me.
Quite an impressive show this morning in India.
This is very impressive, but it's more important for the future of America. Remember when the Prime Minister Modi came to America in Houston? Yes. It was the president there. And India, if
the Howdy Modi tour.
That's right. And if India is not today, they will be by next year. They'll be larger than China. And to have this relationship changes the course of history going forward. I give this president a great deal of credit. And what Indian Americans have contributed to our society and others, this just creates a much bigger bond. And so for the president to do this and build with Modi, this makes the world stronger.
What will this mean for the president during the election?
It's very smart on his part because he continues to expand this party. Think about what he's done with the economy and bringing more people into the party. This just enhances that even further, shows people are welcome, shows that this is a place that he wants people to associate with, engage.
And if you look at the international front, the candidates running against the president say around the world our prestige has dropped. Really? And he says Iran is stronger. When you see 125,000 people gather in India and you see the signs, the Trump signs there in the motorcade, and then you factor in what's happened with Iran. They had a disastrous election over the weekend. They have been unable to get their feet since the taking out of Soleimani. And we watched their economy crater. So it's hard to say internationally the president's vulnerable.
You know what? Any country that doesn't have their government control their media, you'd find that the president is loved. In Iran, they're having an internal revolution. I'm around this president a great deal. I'm around him when foreign leaders call.
Right.
And I see the relationship that they have with him. I see the respect they have for him, the things they call to ask of him. It is such a misnomer out there. This president is more respected than I found than many in the past because of where this country is at in his leadership.
Well, you, of course, the top Republican in the House. The number 3 Democrat in the House is Majority Whip James Clyburn. He had an interesting observation yesterday on television regarding Bernie Sanders. And if Bernie Sanders is the nominee, well, listen to Mr. Clyburn.
You're already starting to see these attacks for his background as a Democratic socialist. How deep will that cut in South Carolina? And if he's the nominee, do you think it could put the House majority in danger?
A lot of people think so. South Carolinians are pretty leery about that title, socialist. These are basically moderate and conservative districts that we did well in. And in those districts, it's going to be tough to hold on to these jobs if you have to make the case for accepting a self-proclaimed democratic socialist.
So if Bernie Sanders is the nominee, you could be closer to Speaker.
Yeah, but it's not because of Bernie Sanders is the nominee. It's because what they embrace. They embrace Bernie Sanders' policy. They embrace socialism. They're just embarrassed of Bernie. More than half of the Democrats in Congress have co-sponsored Medicare for All. Almost half is Green New Deal. They call themselves socialist Democrats, the squad that controls the floor. The real reason why they'll lose the majority, what have they accomplished? They have accomplished nothing. They have issued more subpoenas than they've created laws. All they have done is investigate. Yeah, all they do is investigate. They have not lowered prescription drugs. They have not built an infrastructure. They have not moved this Congress forward. They promised that they would govern different, and they're wrong. They did not.
You have James Carville and you have Bloomberg's campaign chairman basically saying over the weekend that Democrats are naive if they think that Bernie Sanders can beat President Trump.
Bernie Sanders is going to be their nominee. He's reflective of their policies and their philosophy. He beat Joe Biden, who's been running for president for more than 40 years, was the vice president by more than twice the number of votes. Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren has dropped. This is really a Bernie Sanders party. This is AOC. This is Tlaib. This is Omar. They call themselves socialist Democrats. Not when Bernie started running, when they got elected inside Congress. This is a movement of politics. This is not the Democratic Party of the past. This is a socialist Democratic Party that thinks Fidel Castro is a good person.
Right. And I see if you have that old video to roll out and you're a moderate Democrat who wants a shot at the nomination, don't keep your powder dry. Go for it now. Rahm Emanuel said over the weekend, if the moderates don't unite around one person, it's Sanders' nomination.
What moderates are left in the Democratic Party is my question.
Right.
I mean, I'm surprised Hollywood's not starting the Manchurian Candidate. Where did Bernie Sanders go for his honeymoon?
Right.
He went to the Soviet Union.
Well, we heard from the president over the weekend where I think he was on his way to India, and he said that the reason the Adam Schiff's Intel Committee leaked out that the Russians were trying to help Trump and Bernie was because the Democrats are freaked out that Bernie could be the guy, and so they're trying to destroy him right now.
Adam Schiff leaks everything except the Inspector General's report that would have told everybody that he met with the, that it could have told about why who was he meeting with, the whistleblower or not.
What is the thing that you take from last week's controversy with the president, the Intel Committee being briefed on Russia's infiltrating into this election? What's your takeaway?
That's pure politics on the Democratic side. There's nothing to it. If you really want to know what's going to happen in the next election, go to the question that Ronald Reagan always asked. Are you better off today than you were 3 years ago? The answer is yes, by more than 60% of Americans. So the Democrats can blame everything else, their social embrace and everything else. The real reason why it's going to change is what this president has done to this country. Made it stronger for everyone, whether you're African American, Hispanic or not. Everybody is better off based upon his policies. And look what he's doing today. He's expanding the strength of America, and he's expanding democracy around the world.
All right, Leader McCarthy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.